Welcome to the United Stand. It's Friday Night Live, which means we can be a little bit more laid back and get into the things you want to discuss. Let's start off with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Is he worse for Manchester United than Jose Mourinho? We'll be getting into that. We'll also be talking about a few topical things. How, realistically, you've got Jamie Carragher coming out, slagging off the Manchester United board and saying what a disgraceful situation Manchester United are in, having, basically bank managers running their club, such a big club. Why is it taking an ex-Liverpool legend to come out and talk about our club so frankly? Where's our legends to do that? Why are they hiding? Come on. And also, I want to talk about Paul Pogba's on a flight away. So Pogba's not playing on Sunday. I think we all pretty much knew that from the preview. Make sure you check out the preview from earlier. But that sort of doesn't help the situation with Manchester United in that game against Newcastle. And also, I want to get into as well, I really want to get into this about how there's so many people who are just... I even saw a journalist today. I'm not going to shout them out because I don't want them to get any hate. But I saw a journalist today tweet out an article about how Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson played bad football for the first few years and all that patience paid off. And I'm like, bloody hell. We're going to start talking about World War II or the plague. I mean, this was the late 80s. How many years ago was the late 80s? I don't like to think. 30 years ago. 30 years ago now. We're comparing things... We've tried Klopp 3 years ago, so let's go all the way back to Sir Alex Ferguson. Oh, let's try and think of a Manchester United manager that started badly and then started to do really, really well. Yeah, let's throw that one in. I mean, you're clutching at straws. I don't know. But look, there are contrasting views with Manchester United at this moment in time. There are some people that think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't last longer than a Mars bar in a Weight Watchers convention, and there are others who think just stick with him. As I said, I've said this a few times before, that the issue is that, is there any actual difference between Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer effectively a sort of Poundland version of Mourinho now? I mean, look, what I would say is were we better off with Mourinho than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? My honest opinion is no, not at all. I think that, and I've said this a few times over the last few days, Jose Mourinho actually admits that he should have got the sack. So, Mourinho's his number one fan. I detested Mourinho in the end as a Manchester United manager. As a human being and as a manager, there's no doubting he's one of the best there's ever been. And, I like him again now he's not our manager, but I found him so infuriating as United manager for so long. But, for him to come out, he's the founder member of the Jose Mourinho fan club. For him to come out and say, I deserve the sack, I mean, he sort of throws all those Mourinho lemmings off the cliff, doesn't it? Because there's still been people, even when Ole was at the wheel, there's still been people, literally polishing Mourinho's, whatever. And so, it must hurt those people who are Mourinho lovers and don't think he should have got the sack when when their leader says I deserve the sack, because he did deserve the sack. We'd finished second and we were going one way and that was down, and he did deserve the sack. But I also agree, as I've said before, that we're in a worse situation now than we were with Mourinho when he left. There's no doubting that. This is the worst start to a Premier League season United have ever had. And at the moment, we're arguably playing... I think, it's recent history. I think that we are playing the worst brand of football we've played since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Well, obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson's football wasn't bad. So, Moyes was just... Moyes did put a lot of crosses into the box. I've got to say that. Van Gaal, it wasn't great under Van Gaal. And Mourinho, it wasn't great either. But this recently is even worse because we don't have Fellaini's. We've still got a Matic and we've still got a Mata, but we don't have Fellaini's there. And we've got... I believe we've got more players that want to play a better brand of football, but Ole for some reason is not letting that happen. So I don't believe that we're better off we'd be better off with Mourinho. I think that ship was definitely sinking and we needed to get rid of him. But I do agree that we're not in a very good situation at the moment, and hence people will say, well, Southpaw Love Sport says the players looked despondent and dejected last night on the way to the bus. I wonder if they've stopped playing for Ole. This may be the beginning of the end. There's a lot of factors to Manchester United, and Andrew Ellis says Jose was a fraud. I did think Jose deserved the sack, but there are so many factors at the moment, right? There are so many factors, and I want to get into this whole, people... There's so many things I want to get into tonight. Let's go to the Carragher thing first. What Jamie Carragher has said about Manchester United and the board and the bank managers and everything is so right. And I really wish it wasn't just the fans saying it. Although I think the fans saying it is enough. I think that there are people with mainstream media audiences that would really make an impact with Manchester United if they had the bottle to do it. And I don't really understand why they don't. I mean, people say like the class of 92 don't dare do it. Like, hotel football is built on land that Manchester United don't want them to build on. They grabbed an opportunity. I don't think the relationship between Gary Neville and Manchester United, or the class of 92 and Manchester United, is so good. I mean, all right, Nicky Butt works there. I mean, there is some reason that they try to keep it like that, but that's their own reason, and their own reason might be that they don't want to rock the boat. But I think that, you know, when Jamie Carragher's doing it, a good mate of Gary Neville, I wonder if Gary Neville's telling him to do it, or I don't know. But the reality is, he's spot on, and you can almost take the decision away here and go, let's not be Ollie in or out for a moment. Let's go up to the next level. You've been promoted. You've gone to level 2. And we look at it and we go, right, Ollie's the manager, and the players are the workers, and the owners are the owners, and they've got the chief executive, which is Ed Woodward, right? How much responsibility lies with them? And I think that's what Carragher's saying, and that's what a lot of us are saying, is that, look, whether you like Ollie or you don't, whether you like Mourinho or you don't, whether you liked Van Gaal or you didn't, nobody liked Moyes. Whatever you are with that, there is one constant thing, and that is that the manager... the managers have been picked by the board. The board have picked those managers, and the board continue to make the decisions with them. And whether the board sack Ollie in the next few months, and you agree with that or you don't, or whether they never sack him and you agree with that or you don't, the reality is, it's not you making the decisions. It's not even competent people you respect making the decisions. It's the same people who've made the mistakes making the decisions. So this is a big issue, and I think that's what sort of Carragher's saying, and what a lot of us are saying, is that it always becomes pointless sacking a manager when you've got these people in charge, because ultimately everything that's gone wrong has happened on their watch. You know, if you are a night watchman and, you know, you and your dog Barney are patrolling outside the Amazon warehouse, and every bloody 6 months it gets burgled, then you've got to start looking at Barney. Well, you can't blame Barney, he's a dog. So you've got to look at Alan, the bloody the night watchman. And this is Ed Woodward, or the Glazers, however you want to look at it. We keep making this mistake every few months, and yeah, all right, you know, it's not nice to be burgled, it's not nice to sack a manager, but ultimately there has to be some core responsibility there. And I think that's not a reason to say Ollie's a crap manager, though, by the way. I mean, I don't want to confuse the issue here. I'm not saying that you can't sack Ollie because the board are crap. You know, they might have you could flip it the other way and say, sack Ollie because the board are crap and they've appointed the wrong person. I heard somebody say today, if I wish we'd lost to PSG, because, you know, if we'd not, you know, we were lucky to beat PSG. VAR helped us. They dominated us. They should have beat us. Verratti, Neymar, everybody's right. They should have won that game. And they didn't win the game, obviously. But if we had lost that game, I don't think Ollie would have got the job. And that ultimately would have been better for us. But that was a board decision as well. Southport Love Sports, we've read that one. And Jake McGreedy says that, Mark, the players are just as culpable as Ollie. They have a duty to entertain the fans. They allow Rashi to waste free kicks. Someone needs to lead the team. You know what, Jake? I think the problem with Manchester United's players is that they're just not good enough. I try to stick up for them a lot. You know, Rashford's been a consistent sort of favourite player of mine. And what if we get relegated and win the Europa League, says Shishu Sandeep. I don't know what you're drinking, mate, but we ain't getting relegated. We're probably not going to win the Europa League. But I'm a big fan of Marcus Rashford. But I'm going to throw Drawty under the bus. I was talking to him today and he said, I actually just don't think Rashford's that good. I think we all thought he was really good, but he's not actually a very good player. And we're still clinging on to him coming good. He said, there's too many things at Manchester United where people are waiting for things to come good. And you can take Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea out of the equation. Talk about Arsenal, talk about Everton, talk about Bournemouth, right? Do you think that Bournemouth fans are sat there watching 4 or 5 of their players and their manager waiting for them to come good? It's a flawed logic. It's a flawed logic to have a football club at any level where you are waiting for crap players to come good. They've been consistently crap for long enough now that I think we can start to say they're crap. And that's the problem with United. We've got too many players where we're hoping they come good. You take Juan Mata, opening day of last season, awful. Absolutely awful. Pretty much awful ever since. But how many of us sit there going, he's such a nice bloke, let's hope he comes good again. What are the chances of him consistently coming good again? He's into his early 30s and he's on the decline. The same with Matic. Flip it the other way, look at Marcus Rashford. When was the last time Marcus Rashford consistently did anything good? He might have had a flash in the pan goal, but he's been consistently bad. At what point do you say he ain't coming good? What is his excuse? Mourinho was the suppressor. Ollie's set him free and he's still not working. Jesse Lingard, 2 years ago, he had 2 months where he was amazing. For 2 years, he's been very bad. The club want to give him a new contract. Why do they want to give him a new contract, people? Because he's a social media model. He brings in a lot of interaction with the youth. And that's a reason to extend a contract that they only extended 18 months ago. What has he done in the last 18 months to deserve a new contract? He's appalling. He should be held higher accountable than people like Fred or Pereira. Because Jesse Lingard, well, Pereira actually is part of the youth setup, to be fair, but Fred, Lindelof, any other player you want to have a pop at, Lukaku, Sanchez, Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford should actually be held higher account than them because they've come through the youth setup. They know what this club's all about. And their form is appalling. Absolutely appalling. But yeah, let's give them a new contract because they've got a British passport. The logic of the club, and I'm taking this away from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for a moment, the logic of the club is messed up. It's absolutely messed up. There seems to be way too much weight on social media interaction. I mean, I tweeted earlier on, people were going on about Evra and Rio again, appointing them to the club. They'll sort the dressing room out. Why? Are they black belts in Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu or bloody origami? Why are they going to sort the dressing room out? Because they're passion merchants. Employ me. Employ Johnny Blade. Employ the Equaliser. He'd be good, actually. Employ Red Baron. Employ any passionate United fan can go into that dressing room and go, you lot are a shower of shit. Do better. I don't want Rio to get the job. I don't want Everett to get the job. I love them as club legends, but bloody hell, let's stop employing people who used to play for the club, who are passion merchants or have got big social media followings. This just seems to be a massive recruitment factor in everything we do at the moment, especially in relation to retaining people's. Oh, Mata writes a good vlog, loads of readers. Oh, Jesse Lingard's got loads of followers on Instagram. Oh, Paul Pogba's got loads of followers on Instagram and Twitter, and he's popular globally. How about you look at someone like Manchester City, who go and buy Rodri, who people probably thinks he's off Only Fools and Horses. He's not. He's an Atletico Madrid midfielder, who actually is a professional footballer, who's probably got no followers on Instagram. He probably isn't even on it. He probably just likes driving round the mountains of Spain and fishing. I don't know. But, and anybody who says fishing is relaxing. It isn't for the fish. But this is what I mean. We moan about Manchester City's money, but we've spent a lot of money. But we spend our money because we're managed by bad football people very badly. And Manchester City, it defies logic in many ways. The way we behave, I've said this months ago, the way we behave as a football club, it is like I would have expected Manchester City to behave. With flash pants. Here I am. I'm coming in my orange suit and my big hair. And look at me, I'm Manchester City. Go and get me Paul Pogba. Oh, Jesse Lingard dances when he scores. Gimmick. Let's get him as well. That's what I expected from Man City because they've got literally oil to burn. Money everywhere. But they don't. They do it in a very professional way. Go and get Bernardo Silva from Monaco because he looks like he's going to be a really good player. How many Twitter followers he's got? I don't give a shit. Go and get him. Go and get him. Get Rodri as well. Go and get Kevin De Bruyne. I thought he was a flop from Chelsea. No, he's going to be one of the world's best players. Tactical acquisition of quality footballers. Manchester United, historically one of the biggest clubs in the world, one of the biggest football institutions in the world. What are we doing? We're looking at social media presence. It's wrong. It's really wrong. And it's bad management. And I think that goes to the very top. Because when you are a football club that's just lost to West Ham, and then 2 days later, you're talking to your shareholders about how great social media interaction you get when stories about transfers are out there that aren't even true. We're not a football club, are we? We're not a football club. And it is embarrassing, as I say, it is embarrassing that somebody like Jamie Carragher, a Liverpool legend, is comfortable enough to sit back and not mock us, actually analyse the problem at United like we do as fans and point it out publicly. I respect Jamie Carragher for that because you know what? If it was going on at Liverpool, I'd be there going, and I was like Gary Neville, I'd be in the press going, stick with Klopp. Imagine Klopp was doing what Solskjaer's doing and the club was in a mess run by bank managers. I would be the ex-United player in the press going, you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it. Because in the back of my head, I'd be like, the longer they stick with it, the more in trouble they are. Carragher's actually coming out and speaking the way United play. You know, it's messed up at Manchester United at the moment, isn't it? Let's be honest. You've got an ex-Liverpool legend publicly berating the way we're run, and you've got United ex-players saying sod all. Like, Carragher is doing more publicly for our club than any of our ex-players. Why? What's going on? I don't know. Draw at Newcastle, lost to Liverpool, relegation zone incoming. Rants is right about Ollie. I'm out. Ollie out. Take emotion out of this. This is the worst manager, says John G. And Philip Burtonwood, how long does Ollie last in your opinion, Mark? Says Philip Burtonwood. Well, I think he's going to last longer than the Mars bar in the Weight Watchers convention. But there is no doubt that Manchester United are sinking. But let's have a little bit of light relief for a moment, because I just want to show you something. I want to bring this in because I think this fits in perfectly with the way Manchester United are sort of doing at the moment.
Okay, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the oldest competition in the game, the FA Cup, and should the winners guarantee a Champions League spot?
No.
No, straight out of the pan. Okay.
Simple as that, I think.
So do you think that, I mean, look, the link's in the video description. Pop over there, watch the full video, because it's also talking about whether you'd rather win the Champions League or the FA Cup, silverware or finish fourth to get in the Champions League. Link's in the video description. Make sure you pop over there and give it a listen. But do you think the FA Cup winner should get a Champions League spot? And I think it really resonated with me, because this is sort of where we are at the moment. And when that person says, how long is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last? I think Manchester United would bloody love it if you could get into the Champions League with the FA Cup. The FA Cup is a relic. It is. Most teams don't put their best teams out in it. I think we'd be desperate to win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, because it would give us something to sort of go, we're building. The Champions League and the Premier League is where it's at. That's where it's at. That's why Pochettino puts out worse, reserves in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, because he knows it's about the Champions League and the top four. And you can have a go at Pochettino, but he was a Champions League finalist last year, and he's been in the top four the however many last few years, which Spurs, actually, they started to get ideas beyond themselves, but Spurs were the team that never used to get in the top four. It always used to be the same top four. It used to be normally United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and then Spurs would miss out. Then Man City came with some money, Spurs got a decent manager, and now it's like always 4 from 6. But this, I know, how long is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last? A long time. I think he's going to last a long time, because I think that the club are run by bad people in relation to footballing decisions, and I think they will be around for a long time. And I think that, like, going back to that little video there, I think United would love it if you could get the Champions League off winning the FA Cup, because I think that's the sort of level we're fighting at now. I think we're hoping, I mean, we're out the Carabao Cup, I must just say. We ain't winning the Carabao Cup because Chelsea will beat us with their kids. 100%, that's going to happen. But we're not going to win. And then the FA Cup, we'll probably try and win that, and we'll try and... That's the success I think we will get from Manchester United this season. Simon Cliff says, Mark, if we lose against Newcastle, Ollie will get the stack with the international break coming up. I'd get in Blanc, James Rodriguez, Sancho and Werner. Thoughts, Mark, says Simon Cliff. Look, you know what? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to get sacked if he loses to Newcastle. He's not going to get sacked if he loses to Newcastle and Liverpool. He's not going to get sacked if he loses to Newcastle, Liverpool and whoever we're playing next. I think it's Norwich or Bournemouth away. That's not going to happen. And that might irritate a lot of you, but it isn't going to happen. You really need to engage with what the club are doing. And this goes back to what I was talking about Carragher there. The Manchester United Football Club is not run by competent footballing people. It's run by businessmen. They are determined not to sack this manager. So as fans... That's not a reason why I'm not Ollie out, by the way. I'm not doing it out because I know they're not going to sack him and I don't want to be proven wrong. There is still an opportunity for Ollie to turn this around. And I know that sounds laughable and it could be the best joke you've heard all day. But there is still a chance that he can turn this around. That's not why they're not going to sack him, though. I will tell you right now, they won't sack him because they think they've got the right man. They think they've got the right man because... They really bought into how cheap he was. Ollie's at the wheel, he's going to get everybody together. They don't actually understand. Even though it's staring them in the face, Manchester United Football Club do not understand the weight of frustration and disappointment at Manchester United amongst the fans at the moment. They genuinely think that Ollie can just say, he can get a steering wheel out and everyone will start chanting. And it still works with some fans, but I don't think they genuinely understand the sheer weight of frustration and disappointment at United. And I think if I think if it was an anonymous poll now, and United said we're going to do an anonymous poll, midnight tonight, cast your votes, sack him or keep him, he'd be sacked. He would be sacked. You'd get over 50% people if it was anonymous. There's a lot of people who are staying loyal to him because they want to publicly stay loyal to him. There's a lot of you who are publicly, I don't give a shit, get rid of him. But that is ridiculously sad. It's really sad. You know, it is sad because I know how happy we were when we got Ollie, and I remember saying, how would we ever as a fan base say Ollie out? How would we do that? And if you think back to, you know, even sort of towards the end of last season, we were blaming the players. Get rid of all the players. Remember that after the Cardiff game. We were all saying get rid of the players. And we were right. Get rid of the whole team. In the summer, it won't be Ollie's fault. The club haven't spent. And we were right. You know, there's nothing hypocritical about this. There's no flip-flopping with this. We were right at the end of the season to say, poor Ollie, he needs to get rid of all those players. They're shit. We were right at the end of the transfer window to say, poor Ollie, the club haven't backed him. Those are still factors. I don't trust this team and I don't trust the board. But the problem is over the last 6 weeks, where Ollie's gone wrong is he hasn't played this 4-3-3 attacking football that he could have done. He's gone back to this B-Tech version of Mourinho and Van Gaal. And that has made a lot of people go, yes, the players are crap. Yes, the board are crap. But what the hell is this manager doing? He's got his foot down on the bus, heading straight for a cliff, and everybody can see it. In fact, he's getting very close to the cliff edge. He's gone off the road, through the fence, and you know we can see the sea and the cliff. Can he spin it around? Some people think even if he puts the brake on, the momentum's going to take him off. I personally think he can do it. He can do it. He can stop it and he can turn it around. But at the moment, the reason some people can't get their head around this, they're like, how can you blame Ollie? How can you blame Ollie when it's the board and the players? Well, it is the board and the players, but Ollie's also brought himself into that factor because of the rubbish football he's playing and the nonsense he's coming out with. There's a story we'll never get told at United. There's a story we'll never get told, and that is, and I don't know the honest truth. I think we can all guess. There is a story to be told about what went on in the summer. Did he want Bruno Fernandes? Because we did want him. Why didn't we get him? You know, who made that decision? Did Ollie go forget about it then? Or did the board go, you're not having it? Those are things we'll never know, and we wish we did. But I do think that over the last 6 weeks, a lot of people are uttering the words we never thought that would be uttered, which Ollie out, legend out, because they've seen with their own eyes that he looks at the moment like somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. You know, people say he looks like a rabbit in the headlights. He looks like a rabbit in a fox's lair or whatever they live in. Texas C says Woodward needs 25 to life for murdering us. Ollie needs 14 for aiding and abetting. That's harsh. That's harsh. That's harsh. That is harsh. Surly, is it a point where the brand is being damaged? Says Jake Chapu Guzman. You know what? That is something that I don't care what anybody says. As a business person, Manchester United are fully aware, absolutely fully aware that their sponsors are going to walk away. They're going to not get the big deals they need. You don't just get it off Manchester United. What Manchester United can sell is however many Twitter followers, however many Instagram followers, however many fans they've got worldwide. That is something that sponsors are very interested in because it's a number. And it doesn't matter how successful Liverpool are on the pitch or Man City is on the pitch, our number dwarfs them. And United can statistically say, analytically, these are the number of fans we've got. They're the eyes you'll get as a brand sponsoring our club. That's fact. And that is still a very, very big selling point. The problem with those sponsors is they will do research about those numbers and say, well, there is 1 billion Manchester United fans, but how happy are they with that? And as you've seen, a lot of the sponsors are getting a lot of stick on social media, so it will disappear. Greg Hempswell says, I'm Ollie in, but I can't name one player that's improved since he started. This is a problem. Players are still playing badly and there's no clear direction. He can turn it around. He can turn it around. And I think that's the sort of Klingon. I hate Star Trek, but that's the Klingon, isn't it? The hope that he will turn it around. But I don't actually, even though that's the reason that I'm sort of on the fence. Well, I'm not on the fence. I'm still Ollie in. I still am Ollie in. And I still think that Solskjaer is better for us than Mourinho because Mourinho had to be sacked. So, you know, a paper bag would be better than Mourinho because Mourinho had to be sacked. He's admitted it himself and he did. I don't care what anybody says. Mourinho did need to be sacked. You can't say, I wish we'd kept Mourinho because it's going bad now. That's, you know, Mourinho needed to be sacked. We are in a worse position now, but that reflects on the board because they've got the appointment wrong. they've got the appointment wrong. It was right to sack Mourinho, but what they've done since then is wrong. They've gone along with the dream. And I said this many a times. I even said it in March. As fans, we have a right to go along with the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer dream. You know, we wanted him. 99% wanted Solskjaer to get the job. But we had every right to do that because we were sold a dream by an ex-player who supports our club. You know, I will never, ever, ever pretend that I didn't want Solskjaer to be our manager. I wanted Mourinho to be our manager. You know, he guaranteed a title in the first 2 years. Comes to United and suddenly his bloody run of doing that falls apart. What a surprise. I wanted Solskjaer to get the job. Manchester United fan. Played brilliant football. An amazing first 3 months. Exciting. We're finally playing the United way. I wanted him to get the job. I'm a fan. I'm allowed to be passionate. But, in hindsight, I wouldn't change what I felt because the facts were there. He had 3 months playing good football. It was exciting. But looking at it in hindsight, the board should have waited till the summer. They didn't need to give him the job. They actually said it themselves. They said it in December when Mourinho was sacked. We won't make any decision till the summer. We've got an interim manager now. We won't make any decision. And if you remember when Mourinho got the sack, Ole came from nowhere. Nobody was expecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get the job. In fact, it was only in January that people started to tout it about. In December, people were talking about Zidane, Pochettino, you know, a few others. That's who we were going to get, but the club was saying we're going to wait till the summer. And what did they go and do? End of March, start of April, they give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. That was a catastrophic mistake because the minute they gave him the job, it went to rat shit. It went wrong. They should have waited till May. As a business-minded people, and this is, you know what, this is the thing, isn't it? This is what we talk about. These are the people that we want, that run our club. They make business decisions. And on the most important thing ever, they didn't make a business decision. They went along with the song. Ollie's at the wheel, and they appointed him, and they shouldn't have done it. They should have waited till May. And I think if they'd waited till May, we might have got top four because that momentum might have continued if the players didn't know Ollie was going to stay. But the minute we gave him that job, it all went to crap. Everyone was back in their slippers and blanket with the Horlicks going, oh, this is comfy now. And it all fell apart. Yeah. If Ollie has a long-term plan, what do you think it is, says Koyo. I'm going to come to that, actually. And Akshay Shasti says, hi, Mark, great show. Don't you think Ollie should get at least 2 windows? Sir Alex Ferguson had a bad 89-90 with 7 points from 7 games. He finished 11th, turned it around next season with better players and coaches. Mate, I really appreciate the comment, but it really, really irritates me, this. You cannot compare 30 years ago Sir Alex Ferguson with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now. I could write a book on why you can't, but I'll list off a few things. One, who's old enough to remember how we were playing that first 7 games? Because I'm barely old enough and I don't remember us parking the bus. So, and correct, we definitely weren't parking the bus. So that's one thing. The style of football does not compare to what Sir Alex Ferguson and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. The second thing, and the biggest thing for me, is Sir Alex Ferguson won European trophies with Aberdeen. He beat Real Madrid in the final with Aberdeen. He broke the Celtic Rangers domination. In the 80s, actually, Scottish football clubs were very good in Europe. So don't say, well, you know, it's the same as the Norwegian league. Nowhere near. Scottish football was very strong in the 80s. He broke the dominance of Celtic. I mean, basically, Sir Alex Ferguson came to Manchester United as one of the best managers in the world at that time. And it took him a bit of time to sort out United, but he came in heavy-handed and sorted the club out. He kicked the drinking culture out. People like Paul McGrath, Norman Whiteside, they went very, very quickly. He rebuilt the club and turned it from a cup team into a dominant league title winning side. And that took time because we hadn't won a title in 20 odd years. So there is no comparison. They're totally different people. The only similarity is it's Manchester United Football Club. That's all it is. I mean, to be honest with you, go and compare Ollie with Roy Hodgson at Liverpool because that looks more comparable at the moment. So no, I don't think, and also I've said this before, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be just given 2 transfer windows because he bought Maguire, James and Wan-Bissaka. I think that's, I think there has to be at any football club, whether it's Real Madrid, Barcelona or Birmingham, there's got to be a red line that you drop under. It's a bit like if you've ever played rivals on FIFA Ultimate Team. You get promoted, but if you lose a few games, you drop points, you drop into the relegation zone, and if you lose that game, you drop down a division. And that is basically what every football club should have. They should have a red line of whether, this is the plan. This is the plan with the manager. So maybe, United's plan with Ollie is to give him 3 years and to push through whatever. But there should always be a line of if you drop below that line, you can drop your toe down there and jump back up. But if you drop down that line and stay below that line, you've got to go. And for me, I think Manchester United, I actually think when I look at that league, if we're below 10th for a long period of time, he's got to go. He's got to go. No second manager, no second transfer window. You've got to go. Do not tell me that team should not be in 6th. That squad should be 6th. The only reason everyone says Leicester are better is because they've got a better system, a better manager, and better players performing consistently better. The squad is not better. Leicester's team is not better than ours. It just performs better and it plays better. We should be 6th. So if we're flirting with 10th, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Let's not forget, Manchester United's squad is the 4th best paid in the world. The 4th best paid squad in the world. And you're saying, give him a couple of seasons, it's all right if we're mid-table. No. There's a massive flaw there. If you can't get those players to finish in the top 6, you're basically not good enough. You're not. I think most managers would get that squad to finish 6th. And he's got to do that. And if he doesn't do that, then the criticism is correct. But I also do believe he can turn it around. I do. I think he's just got. I said this on the previous day. I just don't get why he can't go back to why he got the job. As I said, this is not the team. This is not the style that he had when he let the job go. And I still do think one of the big things I'm sympathetic to Ollie is how the club let Ander Herrera go. He sat on the bench for Paris Saint-Germain. He'd be walking into our team, playing week in, week out, and we'd be a better team. And we didn't even bloody replace him. Koyu, if Ollie has a long-term plan, what do you think it is? This is the most important question. And I want to get your live comments on this. What is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan as you perceive it as United fans? Because we've all got a different perception on what United's plan is. So what do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan is at Manchester United? Do you think it's going to be like this for the next 3 years? What's he waiting for if it's not going to be like this? Why did he change his style of play? What do you think it is? Because I've got a theory, but let's get the comments rolling in. Please do smash a like on the video if you are watching live. Smash a like. That would be really appreciated. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes while we're live. I sort of proposed to do a video over the international break about this, but somebody said to me today, we'll look at the focus on the positives. And the positives are that we are conceding less goals than we have done for the last couple of years, on average. The negative is we're not scoring many goals and we're not creating many chances. And I think with most things in football, certainly in life, you can flip it one way or the other. We're not conceding many goals because we're parking the bus, and that's why we're not creating any chances. So if we start trying to create chances, we'll start to concede goals. That's my theory. I think we're not conceding goals because we're sitting so deep and we're defending so deep and we're trying to hit everybody on the counter-attack. Well, it's hard for teams to score if you've got every player behind the ball. I think that's what we're doing. How long is Ollie going to do that for is the most pertinent question, because if his next 3-year plan is to just do that, then he may as well just go now. I don't think his plan is to do this, but I don't know why he's doing it, because as I said, when he came into the job, he went and played like he does, the 4-3-3. That's his formation, not this 4 part the bus 2-3-1 crap. That's not at Mulder, at Cardiff, in his first few months at United. That's not his way he wants to play. But he's adopted this negative way. And I think as a coaching setup, they've decided that they just want to try and grind out points, which is a very weird thing to do at Manchester United, because it's not who we are. It's not who we are. It's not what we do. So I can't give an honest answer as to how long we're going to do it for. Texas C, Ollie's plan is to build a great mid-table team. I don't know how long he's going to do it. And the problem with it is that for those fans who say he's only doing this because he hasn't got the right players, but that's a flawed argument as well, because you can't trust this board to bring the players in you need. You didn't get any strikers or any midfielders in the summer. So Who's to say they're going to get them next summer? There's a Euros going on. We're going to sell Pogba. That's going to take most of everybody's time. So you can't trust the board to bring the players in that you want anyway. And I also say, if I'm Pep Guardiola, if I'm Klopp, if I'm Pochettino and I go to a club and I don't like some of the players, do I abandon my philosophy and go, I'm going to park the bus? No, you don't. You stick to what you do, don't you? You drill it into your players. Every coach, from pub football to whatever level, will have a philosophy of football and they will try and do it with the players that they've got. I cannot get my head around why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer started to play a certain way for 3 months and scrapped it for this. And this is not the United way, and he knows it's not the United way. I don't get why he's doing it. And the thing is, the two centre defensive midfielders he's got aren't even very good at doing the job anyway. So you'd be better off playing a more dynamic midfield. I personally think that our midfield three should be McTominay holding it with Pereira and Pogba, or Fred and Pogba, but definitely not Matic and McTominay or two holding midfielders. Shisha Sandeep says, I made my friend watch last night's game. He doesn't even watch football. He asked me which team I supported. I was like, I don't really want to say. Nagelsmann in, says Vlad Vela. The players are down to Woodward, not Ollie, says Michael Jones. Goldbridge for United job, says Paggy16. I think anybody could do that. McNally145 says Ollie hates confrontation. You know what? I don't really want to say this, but I will do. I was watching a video today, and if I had the link, I'd tell you it, but I got sent it, and it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in 2016 playing Football Manager. And you know what? It was quite interesting because when he was sending his players out, it was like, if anyone's ever played Football Manager, you can give a message to your players before you go out. And he's like playing it, and he goes, do I want to give a message to the players? And instead of clicking no, he went, yeah, you've got to give a message. And the message was, just go out there and enjoy yourself. And I think that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like, this is Ole from playing days at United to now. He's a positive person. He said it last night. I'm a positive person. He said it in many, many press conferences. He is a positive, smiley person, and you cannot knock anybody for being like that. You can't. But is that the right personality for what Manchester United need right now? You know, is Pep Guardiola a nice, positive person all the time? No. Watch the videos on Prime. Is Klopp like that? No. Was Sir Alex Ferguson like that? No. Is Pochettino like that? No. You know, is he too nice for this job? Probably not. I think he does get mad, but do people respect him when he gets mad because he's such a positive person? I don't know. I don't know whether he's got the right personality for it, but what I do know is, I think it's abundantly clear, he's a very positive person. And he probably does just say, you know, when Greenwood came off yesterday and when players have come off who've performed badly, he's there smiling at them and, you know, patting them on the back and everything like that. Is he going back to the Mourinho thing, is he the other side of the coin to Mourinho? You know, Mourinho didn't talk to many of the players, was authoritarian, dictatorial. You know, that was Mourinho's way, and it was very successful, but it just doesn't work now. Is Ollie's way really nice, gets on with everybody? You know, do you need somebody in between? I don't know, but the danger United have got is if they've got the wrong man. And I've said this before, we better hope that Ollie does turn this around, because it's going to get a lot worse. And what you get is, as well, you get a lot of United fans at the moment saying, we've just got to stick it out. It's going to get worse before it gets better. What fortune cookie did you get that out of? You know, where is your logic other than crystal ball nonsense? You know, like, how can anybody base that on any logic? It's going to get worse before it gets better. Well, yeah, it's probably going to get worse, but what makes you think it's going to get better? This is what I mean. Like, I know how it will get better at Manchester United, right? I can list you off a few things very, very quickly. Don't ever let Marcus Rashford within 10 yards of a free kick ever again. Don't pick Mata and Matic. Like, go back to the 4-3-3 and don't play two CDMs. Stop playing counter-attacking football and start moving the ball back forward quicker than we are and exploiting the spaces. Take more risks. We'll lose the ball, but, you know, win it back. Those few things would make United a far better team to watch and a far better team very, very, very quickly. Because we've got people who can cross the ball. We've got people who can take set pieces. I'm somebody who's very concerned about Manchester United, like you lot. But I'm willing to say, if we continue down this route, he's going to get the sack. But I'm willing to say he can still save his job. He still can be the right man. but he's going to have to do these things. I don't just look at it and go, Ollie out, wash my hands, I'm off out to watch the Joker. I look at it and go, how can he improve this? He's still the manager of Manchester United, and I think we'll win on Sunday. How can he improve this? And I've just listed the things there. You get this other fan who goes, oh, all these people saying Ollie out or moaning, they're idiots. It's going to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better. Right, sit down and tell me why you are so sure it's going to get better. Have you spoken to Mystic Meg? Because literally, why is it going to get better? And I think all they can list is, they'll probably sit there and go, oh, lose that. No, you're not singing the song. You're not singing the song. The song's not going to work anymore. Oh, I don't got anything to say now. No, and then they'll probably say, well, I know from people in the club that the fact that players are totally behind him. Oh, great. The players that we don't trust, that have continually let us down, are publicly saying they're backing the manager. I'd really trust them. I back you, Ollie. Give me that knife to stab him in the back. No, so that's flawed argument as well. These players that we don't trust are 100% behind the manager. No, that's not going to work either. Come on, tell me something else. Well, he's playing part of the bus football because he doesn't have the players to do it. Right, okay. Well, he didn't have the players to do it when he first came in and he didn't park the bus. So what's different? He's bought 3 players in the summer and only Herrera's walked out. He willingly let Lukaku and Sanchez go, so that doesn't matter. So why is he playing part of the bus football now? But for the first 3 months with a worse team, he didn't. Next. And that's what I mean. These people who say it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better, hang in there, support the club. Whoa. Who said anything about not supporting the club? Surely supporting the club is just having a democracy where some people aren't happy, some people are happy. That's democracy. Deal with it. Don't come at me with get behind the team, get behind the manager, get behind the players. I want Manchester United to win every game. So I support the club. But it doesn't mean I don't moan about what I'm really concerned about. What I want to know is all these people, and they're not Ollie Inners, I'm just talking about the very people who are saying it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better. On what? What are your logical reasons that it's going to get better? Because that is why so many people are worried, including myself, is because unless he changes to the things I've said and everyone else is saying, it's not going to get better because he's playing the wrong style of football with the wrong players, with the wrong attitude, and we're going to continue to lose games of football. We should get Tuchel if Ollie fails, says Ulrich Darland. And Cam Hayer says, we need to switch things up and stop putting so much pressure on the players and Ollie. We've been spoiled by Sir Alex. You're right about 6th, though. Cam, I love that moralistic argument. I like it. You know, we need to stop putting pressure on the players. We need to stop putting pressure on Ollie. And I think that at the start of every single game, that happens. But at the end of every game, it dissipates because that's life. You know, they're not our family. Manchester United's a religion, but they're not our family. You know, Van Gaal wasn't our dad. Mourinho wasn't our dad. And Daley Blind and Di Maria aren't our brothers. They are lucky people who manage our football club and put the shirt on of our football club. And more importantly, they are entertainers. If you go and watch a film tonight, it won't be the Joker because it's good, but if you go and watch a film tonight and it's crap, and you go and write a review on it saying it's crap, that is your right as a fee-paying customer. Or as a customer. It's your right. That is your right. And that's where... And it's your right, as even more so for your football club, to be passionate about it. And when things go well, like you say, we shout from the rooftops and we rub it in every rival's nose because it's our club, we're successful and we bloody well love it. But when things are going wrong, you've got every right to moan about it. And there is a lot of things wrong with Manchester United that I would say you would not be a fan if you don't talk about it. And I'm not talking about Ollie here. I am talking about the players a bit, but I'm not talking about Ollie. I'm talking about the board. I'm talking about the things that Jamie Carragher's spoken about. You cannot sit there. These people who go, oh, shut up and get behind the team, United till I die, I've been supporting them since I was 2. Well, everybody else has probably been doing that. Don't tell, like I don't tell anybody else how to think. This bollocks that, voice of the fans. We're just a fan channel. People can watch it or not. A lot of people watch it because they like it, they like the interaction with it, but it's not a voice for the fans. That's a load of bollocks. I have a voice, you have a voice, but these people who say, no, just get behind the team and stop moaning. Sorry, no. I'm behind the team anyway, but I'm not going to not moan. I'm not going to not moan. We're run by bank managers. I mean, you're a mug, mate. You may as well go and tattoo mug on your forehead and on your arse while you're at it, because if you are just turning up at every game, just going, yeah, I'm really positive, everything's going great, well, it isn't, mate. And a lot of it's to do with who owns the football club. And they're not football fans, they're businessmen. So at least on that, everybody should agree there's a reason to moan. And there's always going to be a reason to moan, because that's what life's all about. Make sure you smash a like on the video. We're nearly at 1,000 likes, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Smash the like. We'll whiz through it. Fiona says pressure on the players. What you want about? Exactly. Pressure on the players. I'll tell you what pressure is. It's having riots in your city and working in the emergency services and being kept on duty for 4 days, dealing with murders and all sorts. That's pressure. That's high-end pressure. You make a mistake in that and you're in trouble. It's not pressure to be paid $100 grand a week, train a few times a week and play for Manchester United. Yes, you're going to get your performances scrutinised, but at the end of the day, your bank balance does well and it's a dream come true. I'd love that sort of pressure. I don't feel sorry for footballers. You know, if you're not good enough, get off the potty. You know, if you can't shit, get off the potty. You know, that's what I say. If you're Jesse Lingard or you're Juan Mata and you don't like the pressure, there's Everton. You know, there's other clubs. There's Sevilla. They'll take you back. You know, I've got no sympathy with footballers if they're not performing well. You know, I have a sympathy if they're being played by managers who shouldn't be picking them. Of course, I think that we've said that many a time. But I don't have they're well reimbursed for it, and you know, I don't see those players putting their hands up and saying I'm not good enough. Get me a move. They'll stay. You know, that is one of the biggest myths out there. Oh, you can't have a go at the players. It's not their fault. If those players didn't live in a bubble and with their head up their own arse, some of them, then you would go into the manager's office tomorrow morning and you would say, look, I'm getting a lot of pressure. I know I'm on 100 grand a week, but I'm getting a lot of pressure. I'm not good enough. And I need to go down a level. I need to get me a mid-table club. I just want to enjoy my football. They don't do that. They don't want to leave Manchester United. No player wants to leave Manchester United because of the buzz. You know, everyone's interested in you. You've got loads of social media following. So don't go down that route of feeling sorry for them. They've got an absolute dream job. If you know he's playing such bad football with bad tactics, why do you think it will get better by thinking he can turn it around, says Calvin Ewans? I mean, that's the $50 million question, isn't it? And the reason the only reason I think it's going to get better, Calvin, and I can't argue with anybody who says he's going to get the sack, it's inevitable, the writing's on the wall, and a lot of people I've respected have said that to me this week. The thing that makes me say that this story has not been told yet and there's still another chapter, and the final chapter could be the end or it could be a revelation, is that I'll argue with anybody that the first 3 months he played were nothing like this, and it's defined, it's chalk and cheese. It's very different. His tactics, his formation, his philosophy was very different in the first 3 months to what it is now. And if he goes back to that, then things can change. I don't know why he's gone to this rubbish way of playing. I don't know why he's gone to do it, because he's got the players to go exactly the way he was. That will be the saddest thing if he gets the sack, will be, why did he do that? And all I'm asking, and he won't listen, all I'm asking is, mate, you're going to get the sack. You're a club legend. You're going to get the sack. How sad is that? You will get the sack. But you might not get the sack if you go back to what you were doing in the first 3 months. And if you do get the sack and you never go back to it, how sad that's going to be. If you're going to go down in a blaze of glory. Go down doing what got you the job in the first place. Because at the moment, you're doing some weird Mourinho banter crap version. And that's not why you got the job. Just go back to doing what you got the job for. And if you fail, you fail. But I think that when I think about that logically, I think he's not doing it because he knows it's going to fail, which in itself is even worse. If he doesn't want to play the way he played at the start because he thinks he's been found out and he's going to fail, so you're now trying this, you're going to fail anyway, because you've turned your back on what you are to try and be defensive and scared, and that's going to fail anyway. Go down in a blaze of glory or go. You know, that's what I'm clinging on to, and I think that's what a lot of people, if you speak to a lot of people, they're clinging on to the fact that we're suddenly going to start playing good football. But the problem with the first few weeks is there is no basis for that. There is no foundation for good football. There's nothing happening that's making us play good football. There is no pattern. Everyone says, what are we doing in training? It's weird. The new Caton 2009 has just subscribed to the channel. Yeah, thanks for that, pal. Please do subscribe. Make sure you smash a like on the video as well. Really enjoyed the video tonight. Really enjoyed it. I like Friday night because it's just relaxed and chilled out, and we have a bit of more of an open chat. But we've got a very, very good interview coming up for you tomorrow on the channel with James Cooper from Sky Sports. If you watch Sky Sports, he's the Manchester United correspondent. He used to work with MUTV. He's been on the channel in the summer with Flex over on the tour. And we met up with him over in Holland, and he was talking very openly about the Manchester United situation. And this is a man who's got a lot of respect for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's known him for many years, but he's Sky Sports Manchester United correspondent, and a very, very good interview. And I think that, you know, for a mainstream media person to speak like he has, because most of them are living up Ollie's bottom at the moment, really good. Watch out for that tomorrow, probably about tomorrow lunchtime. So make sure you have got your notifications on and you are subscribed. You should get DT on the show. No, why? He's an Arsenal fan. Absolutely not. Totally irrelevant. Do not need to do that at all. What have I done? What have I done, people? But I'm just going to leave you with this.
Okay, guys, I want to get your thoughts on the oldest competition in the game, the FA Cup, and should the winners guarantee a Champions League spot?
No.
No, straight out of the pan. Okay.
Simple as that, I think. Yeah.
Bit of a debate for you there. Links in the video description. I've left a comment on there. Get over there, listen to the video and have your say. Would you rather have silverware or the Champions League qualification? Should the FA Cup winner get a Champions League spot? Really, 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 I mean, relevant to Manchester United, because I think that's the sort of thing we'd be arguing about now, because we ain't going to get in the top four, are we? But links in the video description for it. My personal opinion is that the FA Cup, you know, what are we going to do? Give Europa League spot for the promotion teams from the Championship? No. It's a no. I think the FA Cup has lost. You know, people are fighting a losing battle with the FA Cup. It's done. It was a great tournament, but it's done. You know, it's been disrespected for a long time, and you know, it's all about the Champions League and the Premier League. And I don't think that silverware or the Champions League. I think I'd rather get in the Champions League now. I think it's so important that we do. I'd do another year in the Europa League to win the FA Cup, but other than that, I'm not bothered about the Carabao Cup. I'd much rather have Champions League and finish fourth, to be honest with you. But the links in the video description, the full debate, get over there, have your say. I'll speak to you all soon, and thanks for watching.